welcome to 4000 Encounter. I'm Watty. Today I am joined by producer Graham and Dominic Osman from the Blackburn Hawks. Dom, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Right, ladies and gents that are watching along on YouTube, audio, sorry, this is kind of going to be lost on you, but I kind of paint the picture, paint the scene. So Dom's sitting in his office. He has a Hull Pirates jersey on the wall, a Blackburn Hawks jersey on the wall, and then
Yeah, boy.
a Detroit Red Wings jersey on the wall. I believe there's a signature on that Detroit jersey there. Can you tell me the backstory behind that, Dom?
Yeah, when I played for Toledo our first year back at the new rink and everything like that, they took a year out to build their new rink and things like that back in the East Coast League. And when we ended up having an event, they had a couple guys there, a couple ex-players and things like that, and Gordie Howe showed up. So I was able to, I got a little bit of a tip that he was going to be there. So I took my Eiserman jersey. Obviously, he was my idol, and he signed it for me. So
How cool? How was it? How cool was it to meet Mr. Hockey?
it was, it's my dad's favorite player, right? So it was a couple
Oh, awesome!
generations,
Yeah.
right? So my favorite player is going to be Eisman growing up, and his favorite player was Gordie Howe. And you know, my dad he was a good player, but he never really played organized hockey and didn't really come from a family that can afford to anyway. But he always shared stories about how he had buddies that worked security and stuff like that, and used to sneak them into games and watch Gordie play. And then after my father passed, I always knew, Gordie Howe was, he was the man. So to have that jersey signed by him was it was pretty emotional at the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
imagine.
And he even signed it when he signed it Gordie Howe and then HOF, which is Hockey Hall of Fame, and
Oh,
he put
not a big deal.
the year that he was inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame too as well, so it's official.
How fucking dope is that, by the way?
That's pretty
Just
cool.
to just to be able to just up, you squiggle your name in and just be like, wait, I'm not done here. Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah, just get that one in there. Like epic. And yeah, and that's actually one of my favorite Wings jerseys from way back. Obviously, you talked about Yzerman. He is a hero of mine as a player, but then also I'm a Tampa Bay fan, so he brought me a cup, and now they're in what they call the Yizer plan in Detroit, and it seems to be fucking stinking the place out. So,
Yeah,
are you a Detroit fan? Obviously, growing up around there.
no, I'm not at all.
I know. Well, hockey guys,
Come on,
like
man.
us hockey guys will do anything for a bit of fucking free gitch, like
Yeah.
anything for free tracksuit or a hoodie. But yeah, so you're a Detroit guy. So are you happy with the Yizer plan, or are you kind of hoping something kind of like you got that kid Lucas Raymond there, who's I remember watching him at the Worlds, but just before he went to Detroit World Juniors, and I was like, this guy is a sick joke. He's
Stud.
starting to come into his own a little bit. You got Larkin, you got Patrick Kane there, but after that, I've never known a Detroit roster in my entire adult lifetime, even kid lifetime, where I couldn't name five guys on the lineup.
Well, I was spoiled, right? Growing up, like we were part of that. What is it? It was the longest playoff streak in all like sports
25
history
years, man.
at 25 years. And I mean, it started when I was 15, and my dad died at 13, right? Like, so we were massively into Detroit sports. Well, I'm still into Detroit sports, but when it all kind of started for me was when I was about 15, 16 years old, and that's when they started to get really, really good. They won it in 97. I was at the game that they won it against Carolina, right?
Wow.
So
They lost game one of that series, eh? They lost game one
yeah, but then they
and
ended
then
up,
went four straight.
what I think what won that series was that triple overtime game when Larionov scored. But if you have to think about it, I mean, Larionov played for the Russian Olympic team, right?
Yeah.
So it was the team that they built in And it was the first time that teams were, well, they were the first ones to actually start recruiting from other countries, right? So that's when, Fedorov was there, Larionov, Fetisov, the Russian five, Kozlov. And I remember the game against Calgary when they put all five of them on the ice together.
But yeah,
And that was the start. That was when it was like, oh man, like this team is going to be disgusting. So they end up, obviously building that team, winning it. And then after that, it was just every single year we had something to be excited about. So after they stopped making the playoffs, it was downhill. It was awful as a Wings fan. And
a
then
fucking horrendous hangover, eh?
yeah, and then they built Little Caesars Arena and everything like that. And look, when in the NHL, it's got to be a hell of a lot harder to rebuild. But when you're looking at a long-term plan and stuff like that, from having experience in hockey and watching hockey, and don't get me wrong, like I don't have anywhere near the experience that any of those guys have, like Iceman and stuff like that. But I believe in it. I'm diehard. Like he's making the right moves. He's going to do everything to build a dynasty again, right? And that's what he
That
did.
Schneider kid on defense, man.
Oh, he's the guy.
Oh, how good is he?
So the first time I watched him play, actually, because obviously living over here, I didn't get to go over there a lot, right, and catch games and stuff.
I watched him play
So
for
because
Germany,
most of
mate.
the time I was involved in hockey, so it wasn't in the winter that we would go over there. We go over in the summer. But a couple years ago, I was able to go to Sweden and watch those two games there. And that was the first time I got to see Raymond and, Schneider and all those guys play. And honestly, the young guys that they have coming through are disgusting. Like
Oh,
they're
sick joke.
so good. And he's got just an amount of players that are going to improve and they're going to get better. So a standard fan is going to look at why aren't we in playoffs? We need to make playoffs. It's been 5 years. Like, he's been here for 5 years. This guy is not about like just let's make the playoffs, let's win a cup, and then go through this again for another 10 years. They're building something, I believe, in the next 5 to 10 years that's going to put them in playoffs and keep them in playoffs. And if it takes 7, 8 years for them to contend for the cup, the hell with it, because they're going to end up doing another 25 years. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's what I believe from a wing standpoint. No, even my family are like, "You're an idiot," like this and that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he doesn't. He's my fucking hero. Like,
Yeah, you can't dog on him.
so, yeah, but I believe they have a bright future.
But we had the same thing in Tampa, man. Like,
Mhm.
so I've been a Tampa Bay fan since I played in Florida back in 2001, and obviously we had our Soul Cup, and then there's barren years in between where we're fucking nowhere near. I think one year we had 54 points. Like, it would be hard to achieve 54 points as a
Yeah.
low total. Like you would fluke more wins than that. Like it was brutal, but then all of a sudden, all these stunts just start coming to fruition at the same time, and that just everything starts clicking. You fucking add a couple of veterans, you make some trades, but you're now in a position to make trades, and because your depth pool is so deep, and you have this massive array of talent all the way throughout the minors. Some guys still playing in Europe. I like the fact that nowadays some guys will stay in college that little bit longer. Some guys will stay in Europe that little bit longer. I mean, no one did it better than Datsuk. Like he signed and then he fucked off back to Russia and he stayed there for what? Until I was watching a thing about him the other day and I didn't realize how long he actually stayed there. Was it
Mhm.
until he was 22, 23, and then come over and get some fucking 85 points. So thanks for coming.
Well, now Brett Hall even said it. He's like, he was, obviously, again, watching him, like all of a sudden we're bringing Brett Hall in and Brendan Shanahan and all these guys. And Brett Hall, if you think about it, the years that they were winning the cup, Datsuk wasn't even, he was like, it, he wasn't even there really. And then all of a sudden,
No.
Brett Hall was like, he was the sickest player I've ever seen. And he actually, like, I think Datsuk didn't pass him the puck and he took a shot or something like that. And then Brett Hull goes, hey, look, he's like, you should have passed that puck to me. He goes, well, you were covered. He goes, I scored 500 goals covered.
Yeah, fair
And
point.
that's when it started to click, and he would just always find Hull and stuff like that. But what you're talking about with Tampa, see, this is another funny thing for me. When I was running my hockey schools back in the States, I ran them in Virginia Beach, where Norfolk
Oh,
was,
nice.
and they
Yeah,
were in
yeah.
the AHL. And Cooper was coaching there too as well. I played for Cooper in juniors, and I couldn't even tell you the amount of names that, Tampa had at that time, but Norfolk was killing it. They were winning the cups in the AHL and
Yeah,
this and that, and all of a sudden those guys were going into the Tampa Bay NHL team, and then all of a sudden they started winning and everything. So that's why I believe that Yzerman's on the right track because he's only retracing his steps through what he did in Tampa. And if you think about it, Tampa's still pretty decent right now.
yeah, we're
You
right there. Like,
know,
we're right
they're
there.
yeah, and I think with a couple smart moves and things like that, but again, that's where I believe in the Isa plan, right? Because he did it with Tampa, and I feel like he's going to do it in Detroit, and he's got more motivation to do it in Detroit because obviously his career there, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's
Does he have a Does he have a statue yet? Because he should, just on his playing career alone. But like,
oh,
if he brings
only
a
only
fucking,
a junior
if he
season.
brings a cup, if he brings a cup there
Yeah,
now, in the next, five, this is realistically, it's going to be a 5 to 8 year kind of window there with those
I
guys.
agree.
And if they put a fucking statue of the man right there in front of the center, because you talk about Detroit legends, and actually it brings me on to another point. So I'm not sure which way round this episode is going to go out. I don't know if you're going to go out before Kirk or after Kirk. But
Mm.
what I can share with you is a discussion myself and Kirk had, and uh, he talked about we were talking about the dynasty there in Detroit, and and one of the stories that he shares on his book is the night Fedorov got 5 tucks in a 5-4 game, and I fucking remember. Like,
Washington.
I was like
Yeah,
11. I
against
remember
Washington.
it like it was fucking
Yeah,
yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the Nike wheels on. He was like white fucking wheels, running around, just being obscene, scoring goals, forehand, backhand, shorthand, and power play. The guy was a joke. Like, he scored everything that night. Just like a phenomenal feat. But Kirk talks about, we started talking about like best defenders, and he goes, and they had the second best ever defender in the NHL, and Nicholas Lidstrom behind Bobby Orr, and I was like, Nicholas Lidstrom's the NHL's best ever defender. It's not even fucking up. Bobby Orr was playing against fucking guys that were smoking darts in the intermission, and don't get me wrong, he was phenomenal, and I probably can't really truly appreciate the era from the amount I've seen. So I'm sure some old guys are listening on right now and be like, "Fuck you, what are you talking shit?" But Nicholas Lidstrom is NHL's best ever defender for me.
Look, if I was from Boston, I might disagree with you. Like, but again, I'm from Detroit, so I'm looking at it like, okay, well, yeah, you're absolutely right, but you look at the type of players that were there and the players that are there now and what they put in and the work that they've done has got harder and harder and harder. But it's too close to call. It's
Am
like
I right
saying
in thinking he
it's
didn't
like
play an
comparing
All-Star game
Crosby
until
to
he was
Howe.
30?
Sorry?
I said, am I right in thinking he didn't play like an All-Star game until he was like 30 or something like that? And then went league MVP, league MVP.
Well, the guy can still. I think the
But
guy
it's
can play. Look at him.
probably,
I mean, when you
yeah.
when you see him, he still looks in like game shape. Like the guy is. He just retired because he wanted to retire. That guy could have played another couple years, easy, no problem, and still have been one of the best defensemen in the league. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you try and compare like I guess apples to oranges, right? Like,
Yeah, it's such a different
oh,
era as well. Like,
mm,
they were back in the Bobby Orr era. There was no PJs. There was no fucking Sin Dogs and no private jets. No East. Sorry, I just realized we're doing a hockey podcast and people are probably like, private jets and Synergy ice hockey one pieces. Like they were using fucking clubs for sticks. They were traveling coach where you could still fucking smoke darts on the plane. Like like it was a different environment. There was no filet mignon on and nice bottles of Malbec going down on the private jet. You're in coach. You're in with the cattle like the rest of us when we travel. And so there is different things, but like Lidstrom's longevity to be that elite for that long at that fucking level to bring that many cups to have Conn Smythe to have just like guy was phenomenal. And I said yesterday on the interview that I did with Cut, I could be biased because that's when I was growing up, and the Wings were just a fucking disgraceful joke. They were going to the Cup every year. They had all the like guys with Shanahan, Fedorov, um, even after like the horrendous crash with the limousine with you know
Yeah, yeah.
Konstantinov. Like how cool was it when they get the cup and they give it to Constantine? Like that was my childhood. Like that right there. Detroit Red Wings, and I wasn't a Red Wings fan. My brother's a Red Wings fan. I'm not. That was my childhood, watching these
Yeah.
guys, those exact guys. So could I be biased? Could I have a little Regency and era bias for a guy like Lidstrom? Yeah, but there's
Uh,
not been a better one. There hasn't been a better defender since.
well,
And I know we're talking new school, and we got guys like fucking Kale McCarr that can hop step and you can do it all. I still have Lidstrom as my first choice D-man if I have a choice. And like I love Kale McCarr. I at times like Eric Carlson and I love Victor Hedman in Tampa. Like there's don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's not good defenders out there. There's a million of the guys. There's
oh,
so many
absolutely.
elite guys. But when I think of the elite and like him wearing a Sweden uniform at like the Olympics and shit, like iconic stuff from my childhood that I don't know. It just hockey doesn't feel the same. The closest I got to feeling hockey was the same in the last decade than it did in my childhood was the Four Nations.
Yeah.
I felt like I was a
It
fucking
was.
kid again, man. Like honestly, I was excited. I haven't been that excited like for a fucking ice hockey game ever. It's like Canada, America in Montreal.
It was
How are you?
that.
Let's go.
Oh man, oh man, that they need to just do away with the All-Star thing and do that every year because that was wow. You know what I mean? Like
I bet the GMs disagree, Ozzy. The GMs are like,
yeah.
fuck that. No
I
way.
think I would
Can't do
too,
this
but
every year. Yeah.
and you got the Kachuk brothers running around like idiots. But I mean, it was just what a show. I mean, God, it's it. I'm kind of torn between it because I'm like, you know what? Actually, it would be even better if you had to wait a couple years for that. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
like you just gear up for it. But it was what a tournament that was, right? It's just it's all about pride. It's playing for your country. It's unbelievable.
Well, you got
So
that versus let's see if Justin Bieber can sauce pass a puck into a fucking
I
net on the
know, like
beach.
Ovechkin
What?
putting glasses on
Fucking
and
what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, don't do that. I
no,
remember like again, going to show our age. Some of you younger guys are gonna be looking at the dinosaurs on this podcast, being like, fuck are these old bastards talking about? Go and watch, type in Onan Nolan picks his spot against Dominic Hasek. That's the All-Star games I remember. East
yeah,
v West. East v West, and Onan Nolan comes in on a breakaway. Dominic Hasek fucking lights out. Unbelievable that year. Points top titty and goes boom. He gives it to him. He shows him where he's gonna go and shoves him. You're like, oh my god, this is amazing. Now it's like, oh my god, can you do what we do at Learn to Skate? Can you skate through some pylons? Yeah, they're in the fucking NHL. They can skate through some pylons with a puck. Like I want to see Matty Kachuk being like, right, we're going, like we're going, like he hasn't taken his fucking Adderall that day. Like
Yeah.
he's just a, a shout out, and I might have mentioned it on the previous pod. Chicklets. They had a Brady Kachuk interview, and Brady comes on and he talks about it, and just hearing him talk about how giddy he was, like for a couple of weeks prior, like they think it might happen, and then like a week prior, like shit, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna go in there? Are we gonna mix it up? And then Millsy gets involved, like Miller's involved, and then Millsy's like on the day of the game, like Brady talks about they go for pre-game nap and they go in their own separate ways. They're lying in bed. Matty and Brady are on FaceTime. And they're like, fuck, it's like 3 hours before face off, 4 hours before face off. Like, fuck, are we doing this thing? We're just gonna get after it? And then Millsy texts into the group chat, like, yeah, fuckers, this is happening. Like, we're doing this. Like, we're going in, we're going hard. And it delivered arguably the most iconic 10 seconds in hockey that I
Yeah.
can think of. Like, because not only that, after that, there was another 59 minutes and 51 seconds of absolute electric
And
ice
I think
hockey. Like,
that's
I
what
can't even
yeah.
explain.
It took us, I think it took a lot of us back to how hockey was, right? And, obviously being in the leagues that we're in now and having to support the leagues and the discipline and what hockey's about and this and that. But that literally took me back to the days where Colorado and Detroit had that massive, rivalry and you knew, all right, I'm not missing this game. What are you doing tonight? Well, I'm watching this game. I don't care where I am. It doesn't matter if I'm in a bar, if I'm at home, if I'm, if we're on the road, whatever, we're watching that game because you knew something was going to happen and you didn't want to miss it because that was what hockey to us was about, right? And for me too, as a coach, especially the last couple of years, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about the fighting and stuff like that, and Andy McKinney in the last couple of games for us, he's already have two fights in 4 games, and it's like,
His last two fights of the year, because that's it. No one wants
well,
to fight him
they're
now.
trying to they are trying to take that out, and it's understandable. I get it. I
I
understand.
don't think it is understandable.
But the justification for, those fights it was justified. It was great. You know what I mean? Like all the guys
Square
dropped
offs
it.
as well,
They
like
were ready to go. They wanted to do it. There was no cheap
mutual
shots.
combat, man.
Yeah,
Like these
exactly.
guys know what they're signing up for.
And I think that if they do bring that back, it's better for the game, it's better for the organizations, it's better for the league, it's better for people holding each other accountable, right? Because they understand now, like, look, I can't literally go out and stab somebody in the back of the kneecaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was back when I played, I did the same thing to Stevenson, Sheffield when he played for Sheffield and him and I always had battles and stuff like that. And I cheap shotted him. But I knew right away, I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to pay for that because that guy's bigger
Yeah,
than me,
you're
tougher
looking
than
at
me.
oh,
I was
not
like,
even.
shit.
It might not even be that guy. You're
Yeah,
looking along,
as soon
looking
as I
along
did,
the
I was like,
bench, like
oh man.
who, looking along the bench, like who's coming?
But it
Oh,
wasn't it wasn't right then and there. It was the next game where he's like, all right, we're gonna have to do this. You know what I mean? And I was like, shit, yeah, I'm gonna have to. And that's kind of where I feel the game needs to kind of police itself still.
yeah,
And I think we went through a phase where they tried to take all of that out and it wasn't really working, right? But now they're kind of letting it come back in. And as long as it's mutual, as long as it's, great, because you don't see a lot of guys like faking dropping the gloves, then the other guy dropping the gloves, and then all of a sudden he's gone for, the game and stuff like that, where you can get a guy out. Yeah.
if you
I
do
think,
that to me, I'm still gonna fucking W you. So
right,
now you're
you're
just not
fine. You're
now
fine.
you're just not gonna better now you're just not gonna better protect yourself. So good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like if you give me the shimmy shake And
Yeah.
I remember I've been guilty of it. I remember like just came into the EPL with Slough and my storemate's Nicky Chin. Arguably the toughest British player that ever played the fucking game. And like I played the game the way I played the game. I played that way when I was fucking 14, playing with the men than I did in my last ever game. Like balls to the wall. Like if I got to go, I got to go. But yeah, I fucking shimmy shaked the guy in my gloves one day, and I came back and into the locker room. I was like 18, sat next to Chinny. He's like, no, 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 no. He's like,
Yeah.
Watty, you gonna go in there, fucking punch him in the face. Like, you gonna go in there, you fucking mix it up. Like, don't you go in there, start shaking your fucking gloves at people. That's not gonna get anything done. Go in there. We don't care. We'll kill the penalty. Punch a guy. Fucking do something. Like, don't shake your gloves at him. And I was like, okay, Mr. Chin. Yeah, okay, Mr. Chin. Like, he sat there with his fucking lat spread, like, I'm like, yep, I'm gonna do as I'm told. But yeah, it was like you gotta play the game. You gotta police the game yourself. The minute we start waiting for fucking Department of Player Safety, and every team now is like, let's fucking send a video to 4,000 count and they'll put it on the profile. And well, it's fucking is happening already this year. I've got like five. Hey, DAPS, just in case you're wondering. I got like five videos teed up ready to go. Just that's my courteous heads up for you guys. But like, that shouldn't be the shit. Like, these guys should better go, well, he cheap shotted me tonight, and well, guess what? We play them on the 31st.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see if he's willing to stick me tonight. Or all of a sudden, you've signed a new guy. Like, imagine you didn't have McKinney before the fucking weekend,
Mm.
and all the cheap shots you had from the first 3 weeks of the season, and you sign him, all these cheap shot artists, and all of a sudden got the fucking Blackburn flip, oh, Blackburn away. Oh, I can't play. I got a sprained ankle. Oh, fucking funny that. Funny you got a sprained ankle now.
Hey,
Yeah, where
look,
was that sprained ankle at the start of the year?
at the end of the day, you got to give those guys credit too as well. I mean, I even went up, and I'll name them. I even went up to Alex Kent at the end of the game, and I said, look, I said, credit to you, pal, because I don't know
Yeah,
if
man.
I would have done that. And he turned around and goes to me, he goes, I didn't know who it was, and I don't think
Yeah,
I
he
would
did.
have done that if I knew who
I
it was. But
bet
he stood there.
sometimes that's the best
Yeah.
thing though. Like yeah, like I fought Derek Campbell, and I knew who
Oh
Derek Campbell was, but
God.
he was about to grab one of my imports, and I literally I just fought. I fought Craig Elliott. We're in the box. Back then it was 2+2 for fighting. I get
Mm.
out the box, and my first shift, one of the imports fucking cheap shot someone, and Derek Campbell goes for them, and I just happened to be standing next to him, and I was like, okay, like, and I did really well. Like I fucking really surprised myself how well I did against him. But if that was one of the ones where I'd have known I was going in off the opening draw from the Monday last week, I would have not have fucking slept for 5 days. I would have been drinking pints, fucking probably on the day of the game, like
Oh,
just
I
because I'm
know.
like, oh my god, this is a bad time, but just not knowing it was gonna happen, and just happen to purely be in the moment and trust my skills with my gloves off, because I knew I could do it, but I wasn't sure if I was ever on these guys' level because I didn't get that opportunity. So, Alex Kent, yeah, man, and
Yeah.
and Connor Keys down in Telford. Fucking
Mhm.
shout out to you boys, man, because McKinney grew up in my era in the EPL. You had to fight fucking guys that were tough every week. Like
And that kid
we had a
came
lot of tough guys in the EPL.
he came to defense for his teammate because Kenny laid a clean hit, and it was a big hit. It was good, it was clean, it was right in front of our bench. We
Yeah.
watched it, and he came right to the defense of his teammate, and I'm like, that tells me that our league, and if you look at it, and I'm sure we'll get into this again, but our league is going to be a lot more competitive this year. Everybody's strengthened, everybody's gotten better. And when a guy like that, stands up and says, shit, like I'm going to have to fight this guy because that's all there is to it. It shows a lot, and it shows the game is growing in the right way,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And that's kind of, I mean, these last four games have been in. I understand that it's not against the top four teams that we played, but Telford's going to be up there. I feel that they can challenge for the top four, and it's just going to be a battle every night, and guys are going to have
G-Dog,
to.
where did I have him? Did I have? I think I predicted fourth for Telford this year
Think so.
because
I've got them all.
I know it is the lower level, but I look at this Stanton kid last year. And I'm like, fucking
He
this
was sick,
this
man.
kid's fucking good, man. And then
Yeah,
like Luca's got no business playing in that league. And there's a couple of other guys that have stepped down. I'm like,
say that, but have you seen him play? He was
Luca's
good the other night.
no, no.
He
I'm
was,
saying he's no. What I'm saying is he like when I watched him in the national tour last year, I was like, he's got
yeah.
no business.
Oh
Like he's
yeah.
too good.
Okay, yeah,
Like
I see
yeah,
what
like
you're
he's
saying.
too,
Yeah,
and he's still going to be too good for the national one. Like he's a fucking national league player who's just found himself without a home, and now all of a sudden he's getting these line matches against guys that can't even do backwards crossovers, and he's like, okay, I'm going to score
he's
four.
got
I'm going to
the
score 4 on 5 shots today.
yeah, he's got the hardest shot in the league.
Oh, I'm so
So
glad I don't have to block his shot. Like
hands
just
down. I mean, he took a shot just by our bench, like a slap shot, just inside the blue line. And obviously Harrison Walker, and he's a great goalie, but
yeah.
he almost beat him clean. Like Harrison got a piece of it, but it was like, and it wasn't even a full windup. It was just kind of like a half windup, like slap shot. And I mean, I haven't seen an actual full wind-up slap shot in forever, right? Like since
Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. Yeah.
this guy, he cocked it the way he cocked it, and it came off his stick. And before it came off his stick, it was in the corner. I was like, holy shit! Like that guy
Yeah, yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
Like so, like they're going to be a good team in our league, and obviously I know Jason Silverthorne, personal friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so they're he's gonna get them to the point where they're gonna sting a lot of teams in our league.
Oh,
And
100%.
there's we didn't play horrible against them. We played well, like really well. And that's kind of where I was like, all right, well, I could see why they wiped the NIHL too, because
Yeah.
now they know that they have to step up. And I think that those guys maybe wouldn't have been going as hard as they were last year in the league below. But this year,
Wouldn't have needed to, right?
yeah, and the game was just it was great. It was like a playoff game, and I was like, wow, 3 games in the season, we're in a playoff game here, guys. Like this is great for us because obviously, we're wanting to what we've built and what we've done in the last 4 years to get to where we are now. It would be like whoever wins it this year or wins anything this year, and I'm not taking credit away from Billingham and us and anyone who's won in the past like a couple years, but this year is going to be it's going to be a battle. It's going to be hard. It's not, this league is not going to be as easy as it was,
Oh, it's
like
definitely improved, hasn't it?
so you look at the teams that even we played like Leeds, all those kids are a year older now, right? And they have strengthened. You look at like Knots, like they're a year older now, right? And everybody seems to be adding pieces to make the league more competitive. So this year, anybody who takes anything away is gonna have to earn it. Like that's all there is to. And again, please don't think that I'm saying that Billingham didn't earn it, we didn't earn it, and anybody who's won anything in the past hasn't earned it. But this year is going to be a hell of a lot harder to earn, like what people are going to take away from it.
So obviously you touched on yourselves and Billingham both being like kind of successful in the trophy front. Billingham last year they kind of just had their way with the league
What a year!
and what a year, man. Like what an exceptional year. And Graham's talked about it this year. I think and this is my opinion, not Graham. We're going to get onto what Graham said. I think you guys have improved drastically. But what Graham said, and it's the shit that fans maybe don't think of. They've not replaced Tommy. Like, how do you
You don't.
replace a guy like Tommy? And
You
so these
don't.
things, and it's a struggle at that national one level, north or south. Like, Stratton picking up Vanny. How do you fucking compete with Stratton picking up Vanny? You can't compete with Stratton picking up Vanny because guess what? There's a fucking other Vanny out there just that fancies playing in the NIHL one this year. It just
Yeah.
doesn't fucking happen. So when you talk about like it's the hardest year, key pieces that like key individuals that do move on, and ultimately, hey, who knows? Maybe it gets to October and Tommy goes, "Hey, Taylor, you're up with us full time. You're playing regular minutes, and you're never going to see an NIHL one ice arena ever again the rest of your life."
Mhm.
And ultimately, as a kid, that's what you want, right? You want to be in
Yeah.
the top team, you want to be with the big dogs, and but that could easily happen. And these things in your league, it is supposed to be classed as the development league, but also right now, as you say, it's more competitive than it's ever been. So it allows it to be its own league and its own bragging rights without having that need for development because there is clubs in there like got fucking Adam Barnes playing in that league. Like he's got no right playing in there. I can't remember what's that kid import from Birmingham that played
Ian
last
Brown.
year.
Ian Brown.
Yeah, fucking that guy
Yeah, no,
doesn't need to be.
I
Do you
get
know
what
what I
you're
mean? Like they don't need to be playing there, but they are playing there because now it actually means something to win that league, and it's like it's a tough league to win.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying though, but personal circumstances for all players differ, right, throughout the country and
Yep.
stuff like that. And with the way the leagues are set up here, it isn't, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but when you're talking about like budgets and things like that and expenses and what guys are, getting paid up in the NIHL like National League, these guys are working full time too as well. There's still there's a massive drop off between their first two lines and their third and fourth line, or guys that are coming up and down and things like that. So, you know, it's not like a lot of the other countries where they do have the funds to be able to say, you know what, actually, we're signing a proper team. This is your job. This is what you're doing. We're paying you to do this. You have to be here at this time. Like that's that. So I get what you're saying. You're right. Well, most of our players on our team could play in the National League, and I'm going to be honest with you. The same thing goes with Billingham. Same thing goes with mostly every team in our league. Those guys can play at the national level, and it's the drop off between your top two lines in each league to the next league below,
Yeah.
right? Where you're saying, yeah, you have no business playing in this league and it's not. But again, is it worth them playing up there, right? Like that's my thing
But you
because
saw my boy Chaz, right? He's a prime example.
yeah,
Chaz is the fucking ultimate glue guy. You have him in your locker room all day long, twice on a
We're
Sunday.
lucky.
Like, but realistically, if he has a good year in the National League, he gets 3 goals and 5 assists. I'm
Mhm.
expecting 40 points out of Chaz this year. Like, I'm gonna be fucking raging with him if he doesn't. He's my boy, but I have an expectation because he, he can play. But now,
Yeah.
like you say, you go from that top two lines where you're not a part of, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, buddy, you need to
Mhm.
fucking chip in now. Like you need to put on the rope. Like going up and down and just running a few guys here or there is
Mhm.
no longer your job title. Your job title now includes Chaz is great in a face-off, for example. It doesn't just include face-offs and D-zone coverage. I now need you to be able to go a goal every 3 games and a fucking apple every 2 games, an apple every, and have that expectation on these guys. Obviously, you get a guy like Adam Barnes stepping down who's ripping the National League up. Well,
Mhm.
your expectation is going to be very different. I'm expecting you to be in the top 5, 10 scorers of the league. I'm expecting you to put it about and be, we go to overtime. You're going to be on the ice. I need you to fucking do your job. And it's nice to be able to have that level of player drop down and play the level below. And there's something I spoke to Martin Peters about last week. Just I did a live with Graham, got off air. Martin Peters jumped on. Oh, actually, no, sorry, it's the night before. I did a live on my own. Martin Peters jumped on, and we were talking about this kind of scenario and this kind of situation where guys at that level that are playing national, if you're not top two lines, you're easily interchangeable. Don't get me wrong, you can still be a very good player, but all of a sudden now you find yourself and you're a Stratton Red Hawk. Right.
Mm.
You went from needing 10 points a year to being acceptable to anything less than fucking 55 points a year. You're gonna be losing your fucking job next year. Like it's a different thing. Like we need you to be able to do different things at different levels. And unless you're in that top two lines of every league, it's not gonna happen. Like
Just on Chaz, I think I could be wrong. Dom would probably know, but I think he's top for points for the Hawks in the regular season so far. I think if my math's right,
You know what, to be honest with you, when it comes to point production, I've told the guys before too, as well as I don't look at point production as like who's going to be on the power play, who's going to be this, who's going to be that. We're looking at building something different. You know what I mean? Like everybody's going to have a role on the team, and whether you're not on the power play or you're on penalty kill, it is the NIHL, and we're going to have guys missing, right, for
yeah,
personal reasons and things like that. But I think that's where maybe we fell short a little bit in the past, where if we were if we didn't quite have our top guys, what guys could we put in that position, not just to fill the roster spot, but to actually produce
yeah, who steps up to get
in
the
that way?
points? Yeah,
And that was the thing is when we were recruiting this year and when I was talking to players this year, I did explain to them, look, we've built for the last 3 years. We've got guys here that are in those spots, and for no reason would we ever take them out of those spots because they've earned them. Um, so when you have players like Chaz and like Hadjic and like I mean, you think about our third, you call it the third line.
yeah,
We don't really look at one, two, three. We don't look at power play one and two. We don't look at it that way. We look at it as, hey, look, everybody's going to have to contribute at some point in the year,
yeah,
right? We're going to have guys missing again for personal reasons. So we need to have guys that can step into those positions. And this is where I don't want to take anything away from our younger guys, who are moving forward, who are actually going to be playing at a higher level. But do they necessarily have the experience to go into a playoff game knowing that they have to do something? They have to figure out a way to contribute. If they're not on the scoreboard, they have to make sure that they're playing well defensively. They have to, and so far at the moment, when we've been honest with these guys coming in and as strong as we already have been, right? Like they understand that they may not be on that power play unit that goes out, or that 6-on-5 that we're chasing a goal, or that 5-4 game when we're up and we need to hold the lead. But the best thing about it is when we're missing those guys, we now have players that can step into that position, and we may not lose that quality. Uh, I know, again, too, as well as I want to be careful with that, because the guys that we have had in the past are great guys. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but their strengths are their strengths, right? But now we have a more broad spectrum of player that will be able to, okay, look, you know what, we're missing Kenny and Barnes tonight, or we're missing Lutwich and Royds tonight. You guys need to step up, and they'll be able to do that, and we'll be able to have enough confidence, and the players next to them will be able to have enough confidence to say, you know what, actually we can produce the same. So that's kind of the idea of what we needed to do to make our team better, and to make sure that we're at the best every night, whether we have 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines, whatever. So
yeah,
it's different, because our young guys were great the last couple years. We have shifted, right? But that was all part of the plan. That was all part of, look, when we were where we were when we started this thing, to where we are now, was we needed to develop a place to play where players are going to be happy, where they're going to be taken care of, where they're going to be this. And, Ollie and I, as ex-players, have put the pressure on our board to do that, right? And yes, there has been times where us and the board have butt heads, right? But
happens.
we
it's
That's
hold
good
an
though.
each
That's
other.
good.
the good thing is we've held each other accountable. We've been able to get through those issues and still keep it away from the players to the point where no matter what. And I think our first year, I said, look, win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter if you're losing. You still need to treat the players exactly like that they were winning. And
Yeah,
you cannot deviate from that. If you deviate from that for 1 second, you're not going to be able to build. And that's what we've been able to build. Now, with with the way that we've gone from, we were about development, we were about hockey goals, we were about this, we were about that. But at the end of the day, it's not my team. It's not Ollie's team. It's not the coaching staff's team. It's the board and the owner's team. And if they say, look, we want to go for it, we want to win, well, then this is what you need to bring these players. So you need to support us. We need to support you. So there's been a lot of changes, obviously, with our organization, with our team, in the sense of, okay, well, we had a great player like Crawley, right? But if we
yeah,
didn't know we were going to have him, okay, like, and this is nothing against Crawley because Crawley needs to look after himself at the moment. The Dara followers, those younger players, those up and down players need to look at their development and especially myself being who I am and going up through the ranks, I it was hard to say no, you can't go because we need you. You know what I
you can't
mean?
do it.
So,
You can't do it.
and then all of a sudden, if you do say no, the first time you say no, you can't go. Well, guess what? They'll find a team that will take him as they can get him,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
of course.
So that's where kind of I think we still want to focus on that for our younger guys, and we still want to say, look, if you guys want to move up and down this and that, blah blah blah. But when your owners come to you and say, look, we want to win hockey games, well, then you guys have to make decisions now. That's not up to me. That's up to you, and it's up
Yeah,
to me to support you. So you make that decision. Do you want up and down players, or do you want to win the league? Your
two
choice.
different. There's two different recruitment strategies
Exactly.
completely. So
Exactly. So,
how do you recruit then, Dom? Let me ask you
you know,
because
just one
no, but in
second.
terms
Let
of
me just let me just share this while we're talking about the recruitment. There was a
oh
graphic.
Jesus. Yeah,
there
let's
it
talk about
is.
Let's just talk about this.
Chaz, 36 million. Yeah, his fucking dreams. Um, but again, look, but if you look at that,
I
if you
think it
look at
was
those
Ollie that
boys,
shared this, wasn't it? It was Ollie.
Yeah,
if you look at these boys, McKinney, he can't do a job in the national anymore. He's too old. He doesn't move around as much. But in his
Oh, you're
day,
telling me he can't do a job in the National League?
oh yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah. It's fucking.
You're saying that
Yeah, man.
he could still
I
play a
am.
role. Trust
Oh yeah,
me.
he can play a role, but like he's not going to do the same job for fucking Leeds Knights as he is for Blackburn Hawks. That's
No.
what I'm saying.
Right. Okay, I get it.
He could come in and play fucking 7 minutes a night, and if anybody does anything, punch their fucking throats in. I have no doubt in that. I mean, I've fought the man. I
Mhm.
know how tough he is, and I know what a good player he is. He played for Guildford Frenzy Elite League. You don't do that by accident. Um, but then but realistically, let's just say in their primes, then that would be a fairer assessment. McKinney does a job in the EPL
Mhm.
comfortably. Barnes does a job in the National League comfortably. Tomo does exactly what he does, says on the tin in the National League comfortably. Walker, probably a really good number two at the National League level. Barry, he could fucking easily still be doing business. And so could
Mhm.
Jacob, man. Like that, these are guys that could all and that's maybe unfair of me saying McKinney couldn't do a job. Now maybe he fucking could,
I think
but
he could.
I disagree
but
with you.
like
Like
I think he
my
could.
question is though, when you look at the depth of the National League now, you take a Swindon. Who the fuck do you take out of Swindon's roster to put him in? You take Hull. What? Hull have four import forwards: Bobby
Mhm.
Chamberlain, Lee Bonner, Owen Britton as their top seven.
Mhm.
Like, and then you got another couple of guys there, obviously, that can still do bits and still do business. So, like, Where's he fitting there? Then you go to Leeds, and they've got three import forwards: Kieran Brown, Matt Howlett. Like, and this isn't a slate on McKinney at all because I fucking love Andy, and I would have him on my team any day of the week because obviously I play the way I play, and he plays exactly the fucking same way. He plays exactly the same way, so obviously I'll be singing from the same hymn sheet. It's more of the way the league's gone now. Like you
Mhm.
look at Sheffield, they got stacked with import forwards, and they got Bjorkstrom, and then they got Jonathan Phillips, and then they're bringing this fucking Watson kid, Kyle Watson, back, who's been playing the States for 8 years. Like, and this is what I like about the National League now. It is going that way where you're like, if a guy is stepping up, and you touched on Crawley there and some of these other kids. Some of these kids need to make sure they're fucking ready and they don't just think they're ready because guess what? What? Well, you're gonna go up and take fucking Jonathan Phillips' spot, are you? Well, you better be able to fucking kill a penalty. You better be able to win a fucking defensive zone face-off with 4 seconds left when you're up by a goal and you need to win that draw. Not like, I might win that draw. No, you need to win that 100 times out of 100. Jonathan Phillips wins that draw 100 times out of 100 in that clutch scenario. Yeah, you might be able to offer something more in the game. Yeah, you've probably got more legs than Jono. You've probably got more hands than Jono now. But when there's 4 seconds left and Dom's looking down the end of the bench for someone to take a D zone face off when you're up by a goal,
You know what the
guess
funny
what?
thing is? You're
Fucking John
talking
Phillips
about
is taking the
pickups,
spot. Like,
but that's the thing is like I don't think people talk enough about some of the other guys that we have. You think about it. You've got Royce. He's been one of our best draw men. Lutwich can win draws. You've got McKinney that can win draws. You got Thompson that can win draws. We pulled Pullet up. And to be honest with you, they talked about it themselves. I mean, it was 3 seconds left. We were up by one, and it was a D zone draw. Pullet actually came up from defense and took the draw.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So
if you can do it, you can do it.
Jake comes in and knocks the puck away into the corner. It was, and that's the thing is these are all little things. It's not just about scoring goals and outscoring teams. That's not how you're going to win this league this year. I'm sorry, but if you recruited to to just put goals on the board, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that I'm right, and I hope that it's proof that I'm right because obviously we're going to be in a good position if we do. But you're looking at players that can play the game. That's what you're looking for. You're looking at hockey players. You're looking at, well, okay, this is what we need.
They think the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, I call it every 2 minutes, every single 2 minutes of the period at the end of it. Ollie and I are going to have to get better at this, and we need to make sure that we have the right guys out there and put the pressure on the right guys. And it's not taking anything away from the other guys that aren't out there because eventually they're going to be out there too as well. They might get caught out there. We might put them out there because they've been having an unbelievable night. So those are the things that we're kind of looking at and that I've been looking at personally as a head coach is okay, like what players because we had some players that approached us this year and they were demanding some serious money and I was like, guys, do you know where we are right now? Like we're not, you
Here's the
know,
question though, and what does serious money look like in that league?
serious money.
Like this.
Get
Like,
get rid of that right
like that.
now.
I'll get some
I can
agency
argue
fees on
that.
that, man.
Yeah, I can argue that it's
No, but
tough.
like, because
We're
this
already
is
on
this
that
is
anyway.
no, but this is interesting information for the fans, right? And it's the same as when I was playing, and the fans were coming on like, "Oh, this fucking guy," and like that young kid that is from the hometown is traveling up and down the length of the breadth of the country for 50 quid. Do you know how much you think this cunt's making? What you think he's making? What could? And the problem we have in this country is we're a football country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see a professional athlete. It's not like North America where you got basketball, you got NFL, you got NHL, you got like five or six, like 4 or 5 like major sports, UFC, and all these things where you can start, and their salaries are right there in public. So in the UK, same thing. We're like, oh, the Colton Palmer's just signed for there, and he's 225 grand a week, and they see us as being like professional athletes in the UK. So you must be making bank, and I go. Cost that guy 50 quid. No, he gets 50 quid, sorry. but he had to buy his own skates and own fucking gloves and own
Mm.
sticks. Obviously, now you're saying like, you guys have kind of got on board with that a little bit at that level where these things don't have to happen. But there's guys that are literally going to fucking play these games that are making 25 quid a week. There's
Yeah,
guys that you might think fans are
yeah,
going, oh my God, you're spending so much money. And you go, he's making £85 a week. Like he's
yeah.
literally, it
And
cost him
that's
fucking
yeah.
cost him 62 quid to fucking drive here. He's
Well,
making a McDonald's at the weekend for the road trip. That's what he's making. Like,
that's exactly what you just nailed it on the head right there. Because I had a guy come to me 2 years ago, an import in our league that's playing in our league right now, saying, "Oh, I want 400 quid a week." He's making
get
350.
fucked.
I'm like, "Fucking hell, you're making 350 over there. Stay." I put
Stay,
laughing face.
stay,
I
yeah,
put
stay
laughing
there.
face.
Yeah.
You know the emoji laughing face.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I put that on the message back. I was like, "Come on, man! Like really, seriously? Like we're the NIHL one here. There's guys in the National League that aren't even making that.
That's why I
Like,
was
so,
making that's why I was making a Guildford in the EPL.
I think I was making
Like,
that. I came here in the Elite League.
do you know what I mean? Like, no, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I was making that in the EPL, and I might have to get my fucking eyes pumped shut on Saturday afternoon. Like, come on, and
Yeah.
I'm better player than anyone in that league. Do you know what
But
I'm saying? Like,
there are
it's just
that's the problem too as well. I say it's a problem. It's not. Look, every organization is different. Every organization can afford to pay players different ways. Every organization can pay players. But to be honest with you, with some of the guys that we had, the amount of money that was being thrown at them to go to other teams in our league was ridiculous. It was kind of like, well,
where
can't you?
from though, man? Like, I get it,
I
right?
can't tell you.
How? No, but I'm not talking
Yeah.
about like individuals. I'm not saying like where from is in which club. I'm
No,
saying where from is in a business perspective
Oh,
of
where's the money coming from? Yeah.
you're a
exactly.
fucking owner. Like you're charging 10 quid to get 1,000 people through the door. It's a really good night. You made 10 grand. And then you take rest fees off, and then you take tomorrow's bus off, and then you take ice time fees off, and you take coaching fees off, and then you take all this off. And then the fucking you broke 6 sticks at the weekend. Well, that'll be fucking 1,500 quid. Thanks for coming. Oh, that guy blew his skates up. Oh, that's gonna be fucking 1,200 quid. Like it sounds like you're making money, and it sounds like you're doing well, and it sounds like you got all this
Look,
fucking pot of invisible gold that's just fucking you're just pissing
I
into the wind. But
I can tell you
it's not
now.
real life.
I can tell you now that that jersey that's right there, that pirate jersey behind me. Okay, I know what it costs to run a team to do everything. When Shane and I did it with the Pirates, it's no joke. It's
It's
not.
no joke.
And I won't. God, I don't want this to sound horrible, and I don't want to be painted a bad light from any perspective, but from Planet Ice's perspective, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't imagine how much that they're having to pay, like, teams in our league and other teams in the National League and stuff like that, is how it differs from even a council ran, rink and things
Oh,
like that, or
huge.
privately ran rink.
Like Hull versus fucking Basingstoke, for example.
It's a joke. It will be a joke. Like, but at the same time too, as well as how well are they doing with sponsorship? How well are they doing with other ways and means of bringing in money, not just your fans? Because if I'll tell you
Yeah, but
now,
Ozzy, for me, that's a fucking new problem.
it
I'm
is.
a big
You're
believer
absolutely
in
right.
like,
If you're
you
if
know, when
you're
you're hearing teams bitch and they go, yeah, and I go, well, that team went out and got fucking Specsavers, McDonald's, and Pepsi Max to fucking sponsor them this year, and you got Bob
good
from
on
the
you.
fucking pubs builders
Yeah.
and the guy that fucking mows old ladies' lawns at the weekend
Yeah.
sponsoring you guys. That's a fucking you problem. You can't hold the league accountable for the lowest common denominator. Like, you should aspire to, hey, they're Specsavers, then we want to be, I don't know who the ever. Why would give me
Yeah.
another opticians? Fuck, help me out. But you know
Well,
what I mean? Like, Vision Express. Well, why are you not sponsored by Vision Express? Why are you not sponsored by Burger King and McDonald's? Why, like, go out if
That's
these.
why. That's why.
hey man, that's great. I can't believe there's a Wendy's
It's
here. I saw the
fucking
first one in Europe.
horrendous, bro. It's horrendous, bro.
No, it's better in the States, man. It's better in the
No,
States.
Wendy's food. I'm not saying Wendy's food's horrendous.
Oh
I used
no,
to love
it's
Wendy's
in
when I lived
Jersey.
in Florida, man. I lived on Frosties when I lived in Florida. Like
You dip the
I
fries in it? Do you dip the
oh
chicken?
fuck yeah. Or
Do it?
I'm all in. I'm all in with that. But like, if you are, we've been asked to wear some weird shit as players over the years. But I
Yeah.
draw the line at a fucking hostage ginger girl strapped to the front of my
Hey,
chest.
easy, man.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why are we doing this? She looks like she's been fucking stuck on there against her will. Like, ah! Like, but that's your.
No.
I gather that's a warm up jersey, right? It has to be a warm up.
That's Peterborough Phantom's alternate.
Whose jersey is that, by
That's
the way?
their alternate jersey that they can actually wear
Whose?
that in actual game.
Who?
Peterborough.
Yeah, Peterborough Phantoms.
Funny
£50
they did that
if you
one.
want to buy one.
No, I don't.
No. Well, Wendy's
I,
isn't a
I,
small town.
I, I don't want one for free. You couldn't send me one of them. The last time we slagged jerseys off in here, I slagged the Bracknell Bees Christmas jersey off, something rotten, and the fucking GM sent me a jersey in the post. Oh, by the way, I love that shit. Like, I had it hung up in the background for a little bit. I was like, if I'm gonna give you guys shit and then you're gonna give it back, I'm fucking here for it. Like, when I slagged the NIHL and the National League for not having like hats and medals and all that shit, and then I walked into the National Two playoffs last year, and Hayden walked up, and he gave me a playoff hat, a league winners hat, and a fucking cup hat. I was like.
Hey, I
That
can switch my hats all day long if they want to sponsor us. I can do Cabela's. I can do Ford. Let's go. Like
That's it though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's the level of banter, and I appreciate when the banter comes back. Like when I do this shit on here, when I reach out and I talk about that sort of shit, I know I'm outspoken, but like I care about the players, man. Don't fucking
yeah,
leave players stood up there when they just won a national championship and they get a fucking handshake.
yeah,
You fucking what now? That's not on. Like and hey, I was outspoken, and I was outspoken, but guess what? Things changed.
yeah. No, no, I get it. I get it.
Because they do. But if you're gonna give me shit back, I've got thick skin, man. I played for a long time, and I played the way I did. My skin is thick like rhino. I'm ready for you to come back at me. It's the same as you guys must feel in that league when they go, right, you're spending all this money. It's like, oof, what fucking money? If we had all that money, we'd be in the National League. Like,
Yeah,
if,
that
if,
cracks
if we
me
had
up.
that money, we'd be in the
That
National League.
yeah,
Like, would they,
that really does crack me up when people are like, "Oh my God, they spent so huge, and the pressure's on them because they invested and they did this." And I'm like, "No, all we did was try and all we're trying to do is
Right,
Jesus."
Graham, you can't use that joke again, man. Come on, that's three times.
But that's what I'm saying is like anybody who's sitting there like saying, "Oh my God, they spent huge and the pressure's on them," and it's not they whatever. You're making excuses. Like the bottom line is the way I see it is everybody is here to win. We are in the National League One. Nobody's making a killing. Nobody's making a living at the like that's just the facts of the matter. So whatever teams have to do to make themselves more competitive, I support that. And that's what you need to do. But you also have to take a look at is it's not endless and you have to spread it. So if you're going to top heavy it, you better hope that those guys
Turn up
produce.
every week.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's all there is to it. So, we've done a really good job and our guys are great. They understand where they're coming to. They understand what they're coming for. We have, I mean, well, let's face it, our board and ourselves as coaching staff and everything have said, yeah, this is where we want to be. This is where we want to be 4 years ago. We're in a good place. We're in a very, very, very good place. But it wasn't just about going out and finding every single all-star that you can find, or just two all-stars that you can find. You need to make sure that you're spreading it. You need to make sure that you're going to be covered on nights that those some of the top guys aren't going to be there for personal reasons. We are in the NIHL one. End
Yeah,
of.
like you say, you're not paying their fucking mortgage. So some
No,
days, some of the
no.
top dogs, well, some of the top dogs, some of the bottom dogs, whoever it may be,
Yeah. So
are gonna have commitments.
And that goes for every team in our league. So
Yeah,
anybody who's talking about budgets and they spent huge in this and that, I don't think they really know what they're talking about. That's my
no,
honest.
I agree.
No, no. Offense, please don't take any offense if you're one of those people who do that. But really, honestly, we've managed to be able to build a very good roster that's affordable for our team. And we want to challenge. We want to do that. And that's where we are. And this team, or sorry, this league this year, again, I cannot express how competitive it is. I knew what we were walking into in Telford.
Yeah,
Some of our guys may not have known, but we made it very clear to them that, hey, look, take a look of where these guys have been and what they've done. These guys have been in positions where, hey, they were local to Telford. They didn't really have an option to go anywhere else, so they wanted to keep playing hockey.
yeah,
And that's why they're so good in the level that they were at. So, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be competitive in our league, right? So, because a lot of those guys are very good hockey players, right? They've got, they could skate well, they've got good skill sets, things like that. And it's just a matter of once Silverthorne gets them guys like clicking,
yeah.
they're
I agree.
they're going to be
Is he playing?
sorry,
Is he playing?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he's gonna be a
I don't know how
fucking
he's
joke. He's gonna be a
years
fucking
older
joke
than
in
me.
that league.
They've got Finley
So
Howells as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's too
yeah.
good for that league.
Some of them
Silverthorne's
kids,
too good for that league. Like there's guys, that's why when I put him as high up as I did in
they do remind me of what we had 2 years ago, right? Like
so
they have a mixture of very good older hockey players, and then they have some very good young guys that can
Yeah, I agree.
give them that boost. So to me, I look at them as kind of how we were 2 years ago, and even up to last year in a sense. So they're they're not going to be pushovers, to be honest with you. So
Yeah,
so
you had him in
some of the,
fourth. Yeah, you had him in fourth. I'd have been fifth.
I have him in fourth, fifth. I look. I think if you're going to be honest, if we're going to be honest here, and um, I'm biased. I want to pick us to win the league. I want to pick us to win everything. I want to pick us to do what Billingham did last year. Of course I do.
yeah,
But are we going to sit there and say, well, Billingham didn't improve? They have the same players they did last year. Look at the players they had last year.
yeah, the
Same
players won the league. Like, the
players.
players won everything last year. Like
Yeah, they won everything.
yeah,
So really, in reality, they did the same thing the year before
yeah,
without the other younger guys that they had last year. So in reality, they have stayed the same, but they set the bar, right? And that's why I respect them because they set the bar to the other teams that need to try and catch them, right? And if other teams are putting in the work to get to where they are, then it's only going to make the league better, right?
yeah.
That's
That's true.
exactly where we talked 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I can't remember when we talked, sorry. But we sit there and we talk about where we want to be as a club, but also where we would like to see the league go. This league is no joke anymore. Like, and I'm not saying it was a joke 3 years ago, but it is much better than it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So we had to grow not only to catch the leaders, but we have to grow and evolve with the league too as well. So it's almost double the work. It's almost double the
So I got
improvement.
a question for you then. I'm a big advocate of still adding an extra import to the National League because I believe the trickle down economics of that
Mhm.
is every team now has a Chaz Thompson, or every team now has an Andy McKinney, or someone that can't quite do that job at the National League
Mhm.
now, but they're going to be there for fucking 10 years. You're adding a bit of veteran leadership because the argument always is like, oh yeah, but what about the 18-year-olds? Clubs are not cutting fucking sick 18-year-olds when there's a
Mhm.
32-year-old guy on the roster to bring in an extra import. That's not how it works. They cut the 32-year-old, the 18-year-old still has a job, and now that league's better because you have an extra import Obviously,
Yeah.
you are an import, so you might be slightly biased, but I'm biased on the import front because my favorite time playing the EPL when there was six imports, five, six imports. It was
Yeah,
fucking sick. It was sick, man.
it was
And
fun.
guess what? And the guys that were in the National League because they lived in Bracknell or the
Mhm.
EPL. You were fucking, your only reason you were in the fucking EPL is because you lived in Bracknell and we had no budget left and you would play for fucking £10 a week. And that was the only reason you were there. Like, you weren't there
Yeah.
to fucking score points. You weren't there to kill penalties. You weren't there to fight. You weren't there to do fuck all. But actually, if you sign for the Bracknell Hornets, you're probably going to get 75 points in a fucking ED1 this year because you're a good player and you got talent, but you just weren't quite at that level. And my argument always is the cream rises to the top. If you're one of the 11 guys that cut in the National League because they brought in 11 imports, that's because you weren't fucking good enough.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup. This is ice hockey. You don't just fucking get to just earn a job for life. You don't get a job for life because you made the National League once. You got to earn that shit. You got to go out. You got to point produce. You got to win face-offs. You got to fight, kill penalties. You got to do all these fucking things that allow you to stay at that level. Or if you inspire to go up and go through, same
Mhm.
thing. Guess what? You go to the Elite League, it's going to be exactly the same, but this time it's going to be even more under the microscope than it's ever been in your career, ever before you could ever imagine. Because now the owners give a shit about trophies, and that's what I say. So my question kind of is, if the National League was to go one more, how much better does your league get? Where every team or some teams get at least one or two of these guys that are dropping down that are still really good hockey players. And I don't want that to sound disrespectful, what I said before, because you're still good hockey players. And when you step down to that league below, like a guy just imagine another 11 Adam Barneses stepping
Mhm.
into the National fucking One North next year. You'd be like, how good is this
It's
league?
that much better.
It makes that league so much better.
It does, but you know, I'm I don't know. I've been around the last what 4 years now to kind of see how these leagues work and to see where our level is and what everybody's trying to do. And I understand English ice hockey and what they're trying to do too as well. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at the National League, it's a business.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at the Elite League, it's a business. But I don't really see look, I compare it to the NHL. It's the highest league in the States, right? Or North America, call it North America. They don't have a limit on how many Americans you have to have.
No, of
They
course
don't
not.
have a limit of how many imports they're allowed to have. They don't, but this is in most countries in their top leagues, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, it's literally a business. They need to do what's best for their business. And if that means that they take all the British ice hockey players away, and no disrespect to the British ice hockey players at that level because it's the top league. Unfortunately, they need to do what they need to do. When you go down to the National One, there should be a level. There should
Yeah.
be, as well as they have it now, there should be a limit on imports. But then when you drop down to our level, I look at it as, well, what way do you want to go? Because there's half and half, right? Half the league is wanting to treat it like a business and win trophies and this and that. Half the league wants to develop players, and we're not interested in winning or creating a business and this and that, right? So what there has to be eventually, what way are you going to want this to go?
We
You know
had
what I mean?
this conversation, didn't we,
Because
on the bus on Saturday?
we
We,
did.
yeah,
And in the way that I see it in our league, I don't get me wrong, I love the imports that we've had the last couple of years, and no disrespect to them whatsoever. But at our level, if and this is the way that they look at it is they can't physically get rid of the imports because it's classes a
Oh, you
professional league.
fucking screw.
So you're stopping people from working or whatever, however the law goes. But then you look at, okay, well, what can you do if you want to create the pathway for their players in the NIHL one, then you need to get rid of all the imports. And me,
It makes the standard lower.
I'm stuck between because
Uh-huh.
we we've got two imports, so I'd be kind of hypocritical if I say, well, we shouldn't have imports or they should. Like,
I'm just so not against it on the basis
because
that
I'll
it
use them.
makes.
Obviously, if
Oh,
my
you're going to
organization
replace
wants to
like
win,
what's your league this year? 10 teams?
yeah,
Yeah,
and two
Okay, so
imports
you're
a
going to
week.
replace 20 of the league's best 40 players
Mhm.
with 20 guys for fucking national two. Yeah, let me know how that fucking
Yeah,
works out for you.
but let
I'll
me,
tell you
but
how it works
what
out.
way do you
It
want to
makes your
go? Are
league
you
weaker. It makes every team weaker. Who the
right?
f like? I'm sorry.
But
Unless
what
unless you can grab a
oh,
guy like Josh Ely Newman that
mhm.
has no right in playing in Haringey, who can still play in National League, he's now playing National Two because kids and wife and fucking job and whatever else, all of the above, all of the below. You're gonna get a guy who's all right, but you're
Mhm.
not gonna get an Ian Brown. And that Binningham 16-year-old is now not gonna get to play on a line with Ian Brown. He's gonna get to play in a guy that was fucking playing National Two and fucking paid to play hockey. Like it's, I think what me and Graham talked about it on Friday. G Dog, the addition of allowing guys that have played NCAA and U Sports,
yeah,
they're now over here studying to be able to come and play. Okay, you can't get paid, which actually for you guys, it's a fucking win. Like, hey, bring your kit, bud. Oh, you're in the uni? Yeah, bring your kit. You ain't getting paid shit. We'll give you a couple of twigs and a pair of fucking wheels or
I'll go and
whatever.
pick them up.
Might get you a golf membership. No, but like stuff that you can still do to entice these people to come, because
Yeah,
why would they? But you legally can't pay them because it's in the league, it's in the visa. But it doesn't say you can't fucking hook the man up with a gym membership and a golf membership,
Danbury Trashers.
fucking free Nando's and get a
let's not
free
bring
trackie,
that.
some fucking free gitch. But like you can still do bits around the town where, he might not be getting paid, but if he goes into his favorite pizzeria, it might be covered by the owner because he's a fan and he goes into the
Yeah.
pub and he might get a couple of pops for free on a Friday night, whatever it may be. Can't pay him, but you can maybe look after him a little bit.
Hey, look, I'm not going to say what team it was that I played for back when, but that was one of the ways they got me was, hey, look, we can pay you this much. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like my bills and my groceries and this and that. But we're also going to set you up with a booster family who's going to sort your groceries out weekly. And I was like, what do you mean sort my groceries out? Like you talk about like getting me snacks and shit. And they were like, no, we're literally going to hook you up with a booster family that's going to buy your groceries weekly. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, here's my grocery list. Like that, it's not fucking cheap, right? They were like, no, literally, they'll pay for your groceries. Just give them a list. They'll drop it off to you every Monday. And I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like
Game
that.
changer.
Think about that. That's huge, right? Like that's massive. So there are ways to help with that too as well. But as I was saying before, like not to get away from the point is which way do you want to go as a league? Do you want to go as a development league or do you want to go as a league where we're
Yeah,
now? Half the league is like that, half the league isn't. So I understand why they need the two imports to kind of fluff the teams up a bit because let's just, for example, you take a couple imports away, right? And all of a sudden there's teams that don't have those quality players that it's going to separate that level even more,
Start seeing
right?
some like
So
16-0 scorelines and shit. No one needs that.
exactly. And you don't want that. You really, really don't. But again, when you're looking at what Sheffield's doing, and let's put them there. Let's be honest. Let's be straightforward with it. I don't think Sheffield is going to stand a chance to finish close to the middle of the pack this year. But with the way that they're going, right? And how they're trying to entice players. Look what they did with everybody was saying, oh, the Steel Dogs thing, and he's taking over the Steel Dogs, and the Steelers are taking over him. It's not going to work, and this and that. Now look at where the Steel Dogs are. It only took
Yeah.
2 years, a year and a half, really.
Arguably amongst the favorites to win that league this year.
Exactly. So when you're actually kind of looking at it, well, they're doing it right, and it's only a matter of time before that trickles down into the scimitars in our league, right? Where they're going to have some pretty decent development
Well,
players
Ollie
coming,
Turner's already there now.
right? So it's a fine line and it's hard. It's hard, but the good thing is you have more quality hockey now than you have in the last 3 years in our league. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the way that's going. So whatever's going on is working, right? And you have to give it time. You have to see where it's going to play out. And if it keeps working, that's great because you might end up with two or three more teams in the league. A couple teams might drop out of our league, go down. A couple teams might come up. You just don't know.
yeah,
So again, and I don't want to sound biased towards Telford, but look at what they've done for our league already.
yeah,
They made it better,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Like, no offense to Whitley, but I don't think Whitley was going to be very good in our league this year. I really don't. They have too many younger players that don't have the experience, and it's not anything against them. They don't have the experience. But the fact of the matter is, or I say the league replaced Whitley with Telford. And my honest opinion is Telford makes our league better than it was if Whitley was in our league.
Yeah,
I
That's all
agree.
there is to it. It's the facts. Like, look at it. That's all I gotta say. So if they can manage to do that two more times in the next 2 years, all of a sudden you've got 8 teams
yeah,
in
massive
our
difference.
league. That's okay. Well, that's great. And then all of a sudden, another 2 years, you got your 10-team league, and then all of a sudden you're leveled out again, right? So again, we talk about our top four teams and us and Billingham and Solihull and Telford and whatever D side, whatever. But now all of a sudden you're talking about 8 teams as opposed to five.
Makes a huge difference, man.
So I don't I have to say that whatever they're kind of doing and the adjustments they are doing, and I talk to Martin Peters a lot too as well, right? We have a good relationship. So it's one of those things where you got to kind of you gotta swim and kick and just do what you can through the mud. You know what I mean? To get out of that crap and once you do, it will start to get better. And I think that it is definitely going in the right direction. I
Here's
have
a
to
question for you, Big Dom.
go for it.
Something I don't know if it might be an overshare. Sorry, boys, if it is an overshare, but tough shit, suck it up. That's what 4,000 Captain does. Um, I've spoken to a couple of guys in the know, and there's been ideas floated around maybe some tournament hockey between Slough Jets, Stretton Redhawks, Billingham Stars, Blackburn Hawks, Edinburgh Capitals, Aberdeen Lynx. Now, for third tier hockey in the UK, that has never once got my fucking plums pumping.
Mm.
That gets a bit of fucking blood flow going. That gets a bit of excitement flowing. The thought of best on best up and down the country. Now, that is down to the EIH and SIH to figure out how you're gonna financially make this thing a real deal. How you're gonna convince a bunch of 30 fucking 2-year-old guys who got wives and kids that, yeah,
To
guess
go to
what?
Scotland
I've
on a
got Edinburgh away on Sunday. Yeah, I get it, right? It,
Stretton to Aberdeen. That's
yeah,
like
like I get it. But then you do some of the ideas that I've been speaking about with these people, Sheffield or wherever it needs to be, like a central location, and like I'm all for like putting up fucking 20 bags as a prize fund. Like get this get this thing go like make the third tier of UK hockey. Obviously, right, you got the Dell too. The Bundesliga, like the third league in Germany, is a fucking sick joke, by the way.
Mm.
There's guys that
A
would walk
lot
into
more
elite
about that
league
than I do.
teams. There's guys that would walk into national teams and score 120 points coming out of that league. Like, let's make the third league in this country a desirable. And not only is it desirable, it is desirable already. But if I'm thinking about it, right, and I'm going like, right, I got the option to sign for Chelmsford and Victor Streatham. Streatham are in this cup competition where we play Billingham, Blackburn, Aberdeen, Dundee, or Edinburgh, whoever the top two are at the time, up in the SNL. I'm going with the one where I get to see like take the kid, take. Is it the kid in me? Is it whatever? I want to beat the fucking North, and I want to beat Scotland, and Scotland want to beat us, and the North want to beat us, and North want to beat Scotland. Scotland want to beat fuck all of them, but I want to beat all of them, and I want to be the best of the level that I'm at. It's great. Streatham did it. They fucking won about 175 trophies in 4 seasons playing there. Every trophy they went out, they won. And then they come out playing against Slough last year. And it happened the year before against Solent in the playoffs. They got complacent and Solent come out and fucking steamrolled them at Addy Paddy. They steamrolled them. And then they got caught with their dick in the hand again last year against Slough. That Slough team was very, very good. And they were young and they were fast and Snow had them really well drilled. But Streatham had like nothing to really like give up. Like you got my brother fighting Brandon Miles trying to get the fucking crowd going. Like that shouldn't have been happening, but it also shows like even amongst those best teams, who on what day and when. But ultimately, the rest of the times that those teams played against each other throughout the year, whether it be you and Birmingham, whether it had been Edinburgh and Aberdeen, whether it be Stratton and Slough, they're competitive games. And everyone's like, who's the best? And then we wait until one weekend at the end of the year to figure that shit out. You can't tell. And this is why I hate the Elite League playoffs. You can't tell who the fucking best team is in 4 games. Wild. But what you could do, imagine just even twice a year or 3 times a year. Let's have it 3 times a year. You know, Aberdeen host. Everybody goes up, you play 2 games. Blackburn host. Everybody goes over, you play 2 games. Streatham host. Everyone comes over, you play 2 games at a weekend. But all of a sudden, that's second tier of English ice hockey, third tier of UK ice hockey, and you have this almost bandit league within a league of the 6 best teams in the entire country at that level competing. There isn't any 17 nils. There isn't any 11-1s. There isn't any night offs. Like this is top quality shit. And if we're looking at the real development issue, is ultimately you guys are gonna have a couple of guys. Sure, we're gonna have a couple of guys. If we're talking about getting guys into that next league, and then into the national team, they have to be playing competitive hockey. And I just think it'd be a fantastic opportunity. Not only that, like the rivalries. Think about fucking Edinburgh Capitals against Streatham. You could probably roll that first game back ever to like 85 fucking years ago.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but again, it all comes down to finances, man. It
Money.
comes down to, and again, point at that jersey. I know what it takes. I know where we've been. I know what it's like. It's a struggle just to get through the year,
Yeah,
right?
so this is what I'm saying. Is it not
But
time for the national
that,
governing
that
bodies
to
to
me,
pony up some fucking dollar to make?
that to
We
me
know they're sitting on the money.
has to come down has to come down to an agreement between those top teams in the leagues and say, look, we're going to support you with this. We're going to support you with your bus fare. We're going to support you with your hotel. We're going to support you with the food for the guys.
Yeah,
They don't have to pay out of their own pockets. And also we're going to support you for that so you don't have to pay out of your pockets. I think that's a great idea. In a perfect world, that's exactly how it should be, right? Because I mean, take a look at it. It's not really like it's that far away,
especially
right?
if you did it the way I said. Like that's how
Yeah.
we played games in Florida, because
Mhm.
Florida was a big state. You play
Oh,
you played one on a
do it.
Saturday, you played two on a Sunday. That
If
that was
junior
just how it
teams
was.
in
Like
Texas, if junior teams in Texas can do it, because they're like
yeah,
literally the size of England. So, because I'm sure you'll know Jeff Smith. I played. Obviously, he's a very, very dear friend of mine. And we talk, twice a week. So when you're actually kind of looking at it, excuse me, if they can do it at the junior level, then surely we can, well, hopefully, down the line, we might be able to do it at our level, but it has to come down to the leagues to help support. It can't just come down to the teams because I know for a fact that even when we were just with the Pirates, that a bus going up to Scotland would have cost fucking 2,500,
yeah,
right?
yeah, easy.
And then how about you keep them overnight? then you need two bus drivers.
Yeah.
So you got to pay on top. So it's not as easy as just, hey, let's get them together. Let's do that. So right away, just in bus fares, you're at 2 to 3 grand, easy, right? Then you look at hotel for how many guys that are going to
Yeah.
be staying there. Then you got to look at the food. Then you got to look at, all that kind of stuff. So, and also you have to take a look at what, the players in our league too as well. A lot of them are struggling with the commitment level at the national level because they aren't making enough to make it worth it. So they end up paying out of their own pockets to play competitive hockey. Me,
That comes back down to though
if
what
I
you
could
said though,
still
Dom.
play, if I could still play and I could afford it, I would love to, right? It would, but I'd rather spend my money on golf, right? So,
Fuck yeah. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. But no,
but
going back to what you said earlier though, it comes back to then whether you need to decide whether you're going to be a fucking league or you're not. And guys like my brother and those guys that are fucking 35 and that and don't really, really want to commit, tough shit.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we want to be this. We want to be a win all league or we want to be a development league. And if we want to be a development league, the
but
best
then,
way to develop is to get the best six teams
but
across
then
the UK
the problem
playing
is,
fucking
Watty, is you
competitively.
end up losing your brother. You end up losing,
Oh yeah, he's playing for Basingstoke Buffalo and pumping guys fucking eyes shut that just did their learn to skate like 4 weeks ago.
yeah.
It's
So
bad, but
it's hard.
that's what you have to ask. But also you ask guys like my brother, do you want to go play Oxford City Stars and win 17-0? Or do you want to go and play Blackburn and win or lose 4-3? Do you want to go up to Aberdeen and win or lose 3-2? Like George Norcliffe literally left Streatham last year because he was like, "What? This is a fucking beyond a joke." We go MK Thunder and win 18-1 and then have no game the next day because George is used to playing national. He's
Yeah,
like, we won 18-1 and then we had the next night off and then we went away and we played Oxford and it was fucking 9-0 and then we had MK the next week. He's like, we didn't play a good hockey team in fucking 6 weeks. He was like, dude, I was just like climbing the walls. Like, how do I G myself up to go to a game? And I'm like, we are going to murder this team by 10 goals. Like,
yeah,
you can't get up for that. Guess what you can get up for? The thought of losing. Nothing gets you up more than the thought of fucking losing. Because if you're a competitor, like I was, like you were, I don't want to fucking lose.
no, you're
I
right.
don't want to lose. I don't care if it's one game or 10 games. I don't want to fucking lose any games. And nothing got my balls pumping more than the thought of, like, we need to win this game. This is a must win. This is a competitive game. This is a game we can win. This is a game we should win. When you're going into it and, like, well, if we stop shooting after the first period, it will only be 8-0. Like, playing MK Thunder away. Like, that isn't good for anybody. It's not good for these young Brits. So you talk about Crawley and some of these other kids. Fuck are they learning from that? Not learning anything. But they go away to Streatham and they play against Ryan Watt and Antonoff and a couple of years gone by. Michael Farn, arguably one of the best British defensemen to ever play in the EPL for about 10 years straight, is now playing National One South. Lee Jameson, Adam Carr, all these guys that went through that Streatham kind of turmoil over from MK down to Streatham when they stepped down. Young kids never played against a guy like any of those. Like, there's not a young forward that's played at under 18 level in the UK. Don't give a fuck how good you are. That's ever come across a D man like Michael Fant. They thought they were Wayne Gretzky because they got 4+7 against Bradford fucking B team. And now all of a sudden you think you're going to come past Michael Farm with those same moves. No, you're not even going to enter the D zone all night. And that's going to be a learning curve for you. That's going to be the first time you go, shit, I ain't as good as I thought I was. I thought I was the tits, and now I can't even get the puck in the D zone because you're playing against a guy that's so much better than you and on so many wavelengths ahead of you that it drags the standard up. Because guess what? You play against them 6 times a season, and one time in that year, whether it be the last game, whether it be the second last game, you're gonna figure out a way to beat them wide. You're gonna figure out a way to protect that puck. You're gonna figure out a way of getting to the net. That makes you a better player. Makes the league better. Makes your team better. Makes everybody better.
Well, that's the answer. We got to figure out a way to get it done then, don't you?
Yeah,
So
get off your fucking wallets, EIH. Get off your wallets, SIH. I know that's gonna sound really bitchy because I'm good friends with the guy that's at the top of the pops, but I don't fucking care. Um, because do you know what the thing is? They want that as well. And I really do believe that. Like I really do believe that the people that we have in charge of these positions now, it's in a healthier state than it's ever been. And it's in a state of where there's mutual communication a lot of the time, and they're pulling on the same rope, and they want the same things, and they want development, and they want these kids and these younger guys to step up and to be able to take that next step into the game. Because ultimately, our national team are going to get fucking speed bagged in the next 4 or 5 years if we're not careful. Two, if we're really, really not careful.
yeah, no, I agree. I
And it could be
agree.
a perpetual downward cycle. We could be looking back at the vision of 2B, going, remember we were a Pool A nation? It'll be like 1994 all over again. And it was my whole childhood, man. My whole fucking childhood. It was like, remember 94? Yeah, it was fucking 10 years ago. I remember that much. And we've not done anything to get remotely close. And then it still took, God, until Farmer put that goal up against Hungary in 2017. So from 94 to 2017, that is a window that can't happen again. So if you have to spend a few quid, if you have to get off your wallet, if you have to make these best of bests, if you have to make the playoff series longer, if you have to do all these things that are going to cost you money, well, guess what? We need to do all these things. 'Cause otherwise, we're going to be fucking looking at that 94 thing again, going, remember when we played in Casica in 2019 and we were playing against Patrick Kane and Jack Hughes in his first ever international game? Yeah, well, that's a thing of the fucking past. Now we're playing against fucking Bulgaria and Australia. And it can happen quicker than you can imagine. Ben O'Connor's going to retire. Ben Bounds is going to retire. Jonathan Phillips is already retired. David Phillips is already gone. Like the core group, Mark Richardson will be gone. Like the core group is going to just dismantle. Dowdy. I mean, Dowdy's fucking ripped to shit. He can play as long as his missus lets him play. Dowdy can play and he'll be comfortable and he can do it. But my point is that these guys are at the tail end of their career and we don't have anything feeding in the bottom. So
Yeah.
unless you're willing to try these things, unless you're willing to spend a few quid, that money sitting in your bank account isn't going to fucking help anybody. Spend it, spend it, spend the money, spend the money. Try these things, and if they go tits up, just go right. Okay, we got it wrong, but at least we tried, as opposed to going, well, we didn't try anything, but we got 500 grand in the bank. Isn't that great? Who fucking cares? Who wants to be the richest fucking division? Who wants to be the richest team in Division 2B? No one gives a shit about that. No one cares about that. Like, give our kids the opportunities, and the best opportunities, I say at junior level. Excuse me, sorry, mad rant. But in my brain, I still class NIHL one as like it's a junior level to the next level, to the semi-pro to the pro. So get these kids better junior games, and that's what they've gone out and done. They've scrapped the regional leagues. It is now, north south again, one twos again, the best on best again. So the best in the A League, best in the B League, or one and two. That's what we need because there's no point just going, well, we'll have this league between Basingstoke, Bracknell, Guildford, and Swindon's just turn up and win 14-0 every week. Like,
I will say I spent some time with the 16s this summer, um, with the 16 selects. Is that right? So
yeah,
there's some decent talent coming through, and it wasn't just the 16s. I was able to watch all the A. There are some very, very good hockey players coming through, like very good, talented, like kids could skate, they could shoot, they could pass. And it is a matter of, okay, well, what are they going to do to bring them together and teach them hockey? That's what needs to be done. And I do really, really think, like, I agree with you in the sense of there's some good things going on right now. 2 years ago when we spoke was a different story, right? Like, but even this year, like just watching those kids and those younger kids like on the ice and stuff like that, and there's a lot of passionate coaches and things like that too as well, which I noticed. So I got to see a different side of England ice hockey when I was there. I just kind of kept my mouth shut. I just wanted to go there and kind of see it and things like that for myself. And when I did, like what I noticed was the future can be bright, but what are they going to do to keep these kids in the game, right? What are they going to offer these kids to make sure that they keep going on the track that they are? Because you're going to get a lot of them that are going to fall off. If they
Yep.
don't see a future in this, they're just gonna fade away. But I'll tell you now, there are some very good, skilled players, and not the best of them were even there because there was another tournament going on too as well at the time. I think that a few of the players were gone at. So when I spent that time in Sheffield last summer, just before I took off for the States for 7 weeks, it
Just
was
rub it in there. Humble brag.
well, I'm just saying there were some very talented kids out there, very, very talented at all age groups. And I was shocked. I was actually quite surprised to the point where a few of those 16s I was looking at like, okay, well,
Sign
if
him
we
up.
were two, if we were 2 years ago, if we were still building, I was like, I had my eye on a couple of them from Hull, especially. And I would have been like, how can we entice these guys to come over to Blackburn? But again, because we went a different direction and the timing was off, there was even a couple kids that approached me that I was like, look, if we were where we were at 2 years ago, then
Perfect.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. But I just don't know where we are because if we're going the direction we're going, I don't think I could take 16-year-olds on and promise you any ice time. The only thing I could offer you is a training session on a Thursday night. That's not really something that they're going to want to do to
No,
travel,
it's not snap your
right?
hand off
But
territory.
again, you look at that and you think to yourself, well, what can anyone offer? Can somebody offer anything? That's where I think that in my opinion, the NIHL or sorry, England ice hockey needs to look at how can we keep these kids involved and interested because otherwise, like I said, they're just going to fade off
I think
the
a good start switching from U18s to U19s that should have never switched in the first place. We tried to go down the fucking double IHF route when I was a kid. It was under 19s. And I remember like playing my first games, 12, 13 with the under 19s. Fucking guys have been divorced. Like guys have got kids and fucking full neck beards. Not even like a little goatee. Like you be 12 and like skating up and this guy's got like a beard down to here. Like shit. Like this is a man. And guess what? You soon develop real quick. Dom, it's late. Ladies and gents, before I ask Dom this one question, before you get at me going, what are you got the same clothes on as you did in the last interview? That is because it's now 13 minutes to 12. I finished work at 7:30 and I've been podcasting since. So, if you would be so kind, you can now head over and become a subscriber on our Facebook page. It will cost you £1.79 of your great British pence, but that would allow us to keep growing this podcast. It's going to help you grow us together. I want to get Graham out on some road trips if Big Don gives him the fucking day off every now and again. And that's what we want to continue to grow this thing. We've got lots of good things coming on Facebook. Facebook's actually been really beneficial for us as growth as a podcast. But with that being said, I do change my clothes. Don't worry, I do own more clothes than this. It just so happens that we're in back-to-back interviews. Mark LePay, Dom Osman, you guys should be loving it with two fantastic interviews. And I've got one question to finish it up. My dog thinks she can. My dog's just turned the TV on. I thought she fucking laid on the guitar then. She's turned the fucking telly on. 1 second, let me. I didn't have that on the bingo card today, ladies and gents. The dog's turned the telly off. The telly on. Dom, last question. I've just switched the wrong one off, so I'm going to move my microphone across here a little bit. What's a successful season look like for Dominic Osmond and the Blackburn Hawks?
Look,
Fuck.
we already said it from the beginning. 4 years ago we set out a plan. We set out um, what we wanted to do. We wanted to challenge for trophies by this year and things like that. But a successful season is a couple championships, is possibly the league, the cup, the playoffs, something. We need to take silverware. So a successful season is taking silverware this year. And I'm not going to say that we're going to take it all. Again, it's a very competitive league. We're going to shoot for it all, but we need to take something away from this year. That's a successful season to me.
Let's get a nice little sound bite to finish then. Let's just stir some shit up for the playoffs for the end of the year. Steel City Showdown was fucking brilliant
Mm.
last year. Obviously, you only got to see a little bit of it from the bench, and then the rest of it from the
And then I got
stands.
kicked out.
You didn't think I was letting that go. Um, I've also got no light
I'll
because
behave myself this year. I've already been unrestricted.
my question was, if you win the league,
Mhm.
both teams in the South look very similar in Slough and Streatham. Do you have a preference on who you play and why? What a fucking asshole question to finish off on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
To be
sorry,
honest,
mate.
yeah, it would be there's two ways I could see this. With Slough last year, obviously we'd want to beat the best, right? That would be awesome. But also with Streatham, I, your brother and I always talked about, competing again or, being involved with each other again in hockey. So I think that would be pretty cool in that sense too, as well. Either way, whoever anyone faces, or if we face anybody in the South, we want to beat the best. So whoever the best is at that time, that's who we want to play.
What a great diplomatic answer. You can tell you've been a coach for so long now. Right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna go because I've got double chin on this angle.
Right.
Nah, jokes aside,
All
I gotta
time.
go. I gotta go because it's now 12 o'clock and I gotta be in the gym in 5.5 hours. I don't think my boss is gonna be very impressed if I don't turn up. Dom, this has been an absolute pleasure. I wish you, well, both of you, I guess, with G Dog as well, both of you the best of luck with the Blackburn Hawks for the rest of the year. And let's hope that the powers that be were listening and maybe we do get to see some of these best on best and these things and these import rules and all these other things that we talked about come to fruition and we just see the best for the third tier of UK hockey.
Right.
Ladies
And
and gents, before
that
things
last
down,
quote, real quick, we
go
talked
Dom.
about this a little bit earlier, just real quick. Again, my buddy Stephen Alexi, college roommate of mine. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'd like to get him hooked up with you. He just started his own
Let's
podcast.
make it happen.
Stanley Cup winner from Pittsburgh. So let's see if we can get that thing fired up for you guys too as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. So, ladies and gents, hopefully we'll have an NHLer coming at you very soon. We haven't had a Stanley Cup winner on since Dan Carcillo, and that was an electric interview. So, no doubt we get another Stanley Cup winner on here, and we do our thing. We promote that to the British audience. You guys are the best. We will see you again for another episode very, very soon. Peace.
Take care, guys.